Alcohol. So, my story with alcohol, it's the first time I drank. I remember my homie, I lived in Santee, South Carolina, right outside of Santee, out in the country. And me and my buddy went to town. Like, we had to, like, ride our bikes or skateboards, like, 6 miles to get into town. But we went into town, and Santee is like a golf resort. So we went up there to meet some girls. And long story short, my homie fell off a golf cart, broke his collarbone. He was like, his wrist was already broken, so he had like basically two broken arms, a wrist and a collarbone. And so his grandma lived on the golf resort, and we stayed at her place for like 2 weeks. And I was like helping take care of him, helping him do shit around the house because he was all busted up. She had a liquor cabinet, like hundreds and hundreds of those little shot bottles, and we got into that liquor cabinet and drank. I swear, like the first time I drank it, like drank myself sober or whatever. We just kept on drinking and drinking, trying every different thing, and got wasted. And so, like I said before, I would sneak out of the house a lot as a teenager. And we had another place. One of the neighbors had like a shed with a refrigerator in it. We'd raid the shed and take beer. Later on, when I went to live with I called my foster dad. It's kind of weird. So, my dad who adopted me was actually my brother's dad. My biological father, I didn't meet until years later. I had a stepdad, a foster dad, and a biological dad. But my foster dad, Danny Sabo, I don't want to talk bad on him, but this is what it was. Like when I was like 16, 17, like I'd hang out with him and his friends and we'd drink beer. So that was kind of like my introduction to alcohol. But when I turned 21, I just started drinking heavily. Like immediately, as soon as I could buy liquor, I would just take bottles of vodka to the dome, like all the time. And like I was like proud of it because it didn't bother me. The taste didn't bother me. I kind of liked it, and I could drink a lot of it. And I usually would manage to outlast everybody. You know, everybody'd be drunk, throwing up, making a mess, and I'd usually like drink all night, clean up after the party, get up early, go out and hustle, and then buy some more. I say hustle, like I was a street performer. I would like play my guitar and sing around town for cash, and so I like did that for kind of like a couple years because it was just like I figured out that I could do it, and so I did it, and I could just make cash every day, and it was better than working at like fast food and stuff, which was what I was used to. So I was a busker. I'd go out and busk, and I'd buy alcohol like every single day. And for a little bit, I guess, you know, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I'm like 21, 22, until probably like I was 23, and I had my daughter. Me and baby's mom would drink together, and we would fight all the time. That's a whole nother story, but like I would go to jail drinking. Like the first time it was like petty larceny. Can't remember, it was like one or two petty larcenies until I caught my DV case. But I just realized like I didn't even realize at the time. I was just like, I would blame other people for the problems that I had. Like I would blame baby mama for the problems that we had when I was drinking. We were both drinking, but it's all about me and my mistakes and my choices. So with alcohol, it was just typical, man. I just used it as an escape. And I got used to having that escape to the point of that's how I would deal with pain. this is most evident to me whenever my fiance passed away, 2017. Whenever like I was in so much pain, I would just like compulsively, like I felt like I said before, I was being possessed or something. Like I would be in so much internal pain that I would just like beeline for the nearest liquor store and spend whatever I had on vodka and drink, because it would I had to escape from that pain. So 2000, that was after I had already been in recovery. That's after I had already been to AA, worked the program with the sponsor, had been sober for a while, and when that death occurred, I went like right headfirst back into it. So, and then it didn't stop there. Like after that, I kind of recovered from that death. I kind of processed it, and I would still drink occasionally. After having been to jail for my drunken antics, after having been through 12 steps, you know, I would still drink occasionally, like up until 1 year ago. Almost coming up like on the date, probably. But it's alcohol. What I've learned from it is it's really I remember when I started, I didn't like the taste or anything, but I would drink for the effects, you know. I would drink to get drunk. And after a while, I guess I associated the taste with the escape. So after a while, I did enjoy it. I told myself I enjoyed it. Like, I like beer, it tastes good. I like vodka, it tastes good. I think that's like kind of like Pavlov's dog. You know, every time I taste that taste, then I get this escape from my fate, you know. So I think that's truly what it was. Alcohol is a hell of a drug, man. Like, it's still so available, you know. Like, if I wanted a drink, I just go buy one. But man, it's just not, I mean, there's nothing really you can say to anybody who's like in active alcoholism. Like, I think you just have to, that pain has to be inescapable at some point. For me, like, what got me into AA was really fighting with my baby's mama. It was my daughter's 2nd birthday, and I wasn't drinking. I probably had been dry for like a week or so. But at that point, I was going through probation and everything. And so I was appointed to go to these AA meetings. Back to the story. It was my daughter's 2nd birthday. We were having it at Chuck E. Cheese, and like got into a shouting match with my baby's mama inside the Chuck E. Cheese, and it continued out like to the parking lot as I was leaving. I was like, just at this point in life, all I wanted to do was to get along with her, to not have problems with her, to have a functional relationship, a co-parenting relationship, so that I could have a good relationship with my daughter, who was, you know, she was 2 years old at the time. And dude, especially, you just want to be around the kid. You just want to be with them. You just want to be there. It just means everything. So, and I realized, like, I could not function with this woman. Like, I couldn't keep my cool, because I was like, no matter what she does or says, I'm just gonna keep it cool. You know, I'm just gonna accept it, tolerate it, whatever. But I couldn't. You know, I remember after that night, after getting in that shouting match with her in that Chuck E. Cheese, I was like crying. I'm like, why is this not working? Why is this so hard? Why is this so impossible? And I was like, at that time the liquor stores here would close at 9 o'clock. So I remember it being like 8:50. I'm like, either I can just beeline to the liquor store right now, and then I had in the back of my mind this AA meeting. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go to this AA meeting. And I went to my AA meeting the first time. I saw a dude I thought would be I heard him talk about sponsorship and shit. I saw the dude. I'm like, this dude can be my sponsor. He's like the best. He like seems to really know the program. He seems to like to really to get it. He understands it. He lives it. And so after the meeting, I'm like, I asked him like, could you sponsor me? It's like, I really need accountability. He's like, this is not about accountability. You don't be accountable to me. This is your program. Do you want it or not? And I was like, damn, I didn't expect that answer. And I was like, yeah. We exchanged phone numbers, and I followed the program. I learned so much from that program. Like, if you have it in the back of your mind, like, that can't work, that doesn't work, it's a bunch of bullshit, it works. It's not like perfect, but it works. Like your health, your fitness and nutrition is going to be a big deal, man. That's really the control. It's all about control. Alcoholism, all about control. The reasons I drink, all about control. The reasons people get sober, all about control. The reasons they relapse, all about control. It's all about control. But yeah, man. If you've never learned any of these spiritual principles from AA, you probably should. I mean, if you have these understandings of these principles already, you take the next step. But if your life is unmanageable, you should go. My life was unmanageable. My relationships were unmanageable. And I wanna hop off of here, but that was pretty much my experience with alcoholism. I quit completely when I started diet and exercise. Quit completely. I don't have no taste for it. I don't have no desire for it. It doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It seems pointless. I have no desire to drink anymore. But so I occasionally would. But now I have the understanding of the spiritual principles of AA, and now I have, you know, the conscious congruent path. I have diet and exercise. I'm not gonna drink again. It doesn't make sense.